So you're trying to file your own taxes. But did you know that on average, Canadians pay an extra $1,500 in taxes simply because they miss certain tax deductions and credit that they're actually eligible for? Well, that's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to file your own personal taxes this season using one of my most favorite and free platforms, Wealthsimple. Now in this video, we'll primarily be focused on personal income taxes, and I'll be doing a separate tutorial if you want to file your taxes if you're self-employed. And so make sure to subscribe if you want to get notified when I release that video. Okay, but first, who actually needs to file their taxes? Well, if you're a Canadian resident, then you need to file your taxes. The only people that don't are international students and temporary workers who spend less than 183 days in Canada. So if this isn't you, you have to file taxes. In terms of tax deadlines, tax season opens late February, and you must file your taxes by April 30th. Now, if you're self-employed, your deadline gets pushed to June 15th, but any money that you owe is still due by April 30th. And so that's the reason why I typically recommend my clients just file their taxes in March, because then you can get it out of the way and you'll receive your refund a lot faster. And you don't want to file your taxes late because then you'll face a 5% penalty plus a 1% monthly interest rate. Yup, it's not fun. Okay, and so here's everything that you need to file your taxes today. The first being basic information. You'll need your social insurance number, address, information of your spouse, and any information related to your dependents. You'll also need to gather all of your income documents. This includes your T4 slip from your employer, which is issued by the end of February and available in your CRA account. Also, you need to gather any T5 slip if you have any investment income. Also, if you move to Canada mid-year, you'll need foreign income documentation from before you became a resident. And if you have any foreign assets above $100,000, you'll have to file additional forms. Now, I know keeping track of all of these forms can be really confusing, which is why I created my free 2026 tax filing checklist. This document will tell you all of the forms that you need to file and also some of the main tax credits and deductions that you need to claim this tax season. And so if you want access to this checklist, then I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Okay, and so now that you have everything that you need to file your taxes, it's time for the tutorial section of this video. And to do this, I'll be handing it off to my colleague Chris Raymond, who runs his own tax practice in Ontario. And he's literally filed thousands of tax returns by now. And so Chris, take it away.
All right, guys, now I'm going to take you through a full walkthrough on how to file a personal tax return you're on by yourself. So first off, when you go into Wealthsimple, I'll be doing 2024. First off, since 2025 isn't available yet, but obviously, it'll first ask you for some of the personal information I mentioned before. So your full legal name, your social insurance number, your date of birth, preferred language, which province or territory did you live in on December 31st, 2024. So moving on, it will then give you an option if you want to autofill and add forms. So I will go over how to input forms manually on here towards the later part of this. You do have the option to import forms from the CRA. So if you haven't registered before, there is something called a CRA My Account. Now, you can sign up for it. You can log in either through your bank partner or through a CRA sign-in. But basically, if you can go on there, there's a lot of different information on there that can be beneficial to you, such as different mail CRA sends you, benefits and credits, savings accounts, all that kind of stuff. They do also have your information slips on there. So if you do have a CRA My Account, you can actually import those slips directly onto the tax software you're using. So it's just a little quicker way to do it. Also, you don't have to worry about potentially typo errors, but totally up to you. If you don't want to do it that way, you can input it manually. Next thing here, it will mention your net file access code. So if this is the first time you're filing on your own, you won't have a net file access code, so you can skip this. If you have filed before, it will be on your notice of assessment. So if you click learn more here, we'll actually show you guys what exactly I'm talking about. So when you get your most recent notice of assessment, it will be an 8-character code made up of letters and numbers. It'll be in the top right corner of your notice of assessment. Now, if you have filed before, you should put it in there. The only reason I say that is because if you don't, not the end of the world, but if you ever have to call CRA, they have to do their verification process. And if you don't put in the access code, they actually can't ask you questions from that return. They will have to ask you questions from something else. So if you want to avoid that headache, I highly recommend you put in your access code. But then again, if you haven't filed on your own before, you won't have one, so you don't have to worry about it. It'll ask you for some more personal information. So your mailing address, it doesn't have to be your home address. Some of my clients, for example, have a PO box. So it can be your home address or a separate mailing address if you have it. It'll ask you about your residency. So were you a Canadian resident in all of 2024? For me, yes. I will show you what happens if you hit no. So if you hit no, it will ask you, did you become a resident for income tax purposes in 2024? I'll say yes. The next question that will pop up is essentially educating you that you have to report all of your income credits and deductions. You check yes to that, and then it will ask you for your date of entry. So your first return will go from your date of entry up until December 31st, 2024 in this case. And then it also asks you for your income for the part of the year that you weren't a resident of Canada, so your Canadian source income and your foreign income. So moving on, some more information here about your province. So same question that was asked before. If your province or territory of residence changed in 24, enter the date of your move. Is your home address the same as your mailing address? And which province or territory do you currently live? For example, if I were filing 2025, by December 31st, I could be in Ontario, but I could move in February of 2026 and live in Nova Scotia, for example. So some cases it may be different, but for most people, it will be the same. Some info about your family situation. So it'll ask for your marital status. There's 6 options here. Basically, you just pick the option that applies best to you. Did your marital status change in 2024? For me, it's no. I will touch on those. So if the answer is yes, I highly recommend that when it happens, you inform CRA right away. The only reason I bring this up is because let's say if your marital status changes in June 1st of 2024, let's say for this example, and then you go and file your taxes in March of 2025, and you then notify CRA that your marital status changed, they are calculating your benefits based on your net income and your marital status. So if you go and wait until you file your tax return, then technically June 1st up until when you file, CRA was calculating your benefits incorrectly. So they may actually ask you to pay back some of the credits that were paid out with interest potentially. So if you want to avoid that headache, highly recommend that you notify CRA of any marital status change when it happens. So no for that. Do you have any dependents? For me, no. Now, some other questions that most tax software will ask. Are you filing an income tax with the CRA for the first time? Are you a Canadian citizen? As a Canadian citizen, do you authorize the CRA to give all of your information to the National Register of Electors with Elections Canada? Are you a person registered under the Indian Act? If yes, then there may be certain sources of income that are income or tax exempt rather. Some questions about property. So did you own or hold specified foreign property where the total cost amount of everything was $100,000 Canadian in 2024? Main reason behind this is if it's a yes, there is a form called a T1135 that you have to fill out to disclose that. And then there are additional disclosing details if you make more than 250,000. So if that applies to you, make sure you check yes, and the software in the program that you're using will make sure that that form gets filled out. Did you dispose of your principal residence in 2024? Now, there is something called a principal residence exemption, which some of you may have heard of. If you sell the house that you were living in for every year that you owned it, you qualify for the principal residence exemption, so you don't have to pay capital gains tax on the sale. But CRA still requires that you report the details of the sale, such as the address, the sale price, when you acquired it, ownership share, if it's 100% owned by you or 50-50 with a partner, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you check yes to that if that applies to you, and the software will make sure that the appropriate forms get filled out. Did you flip a property in 2024? If you buy and sell a property in under 365 days, it's considered house flipping. Of course, assuming that you didn't have to move for a job or some other certain situations applied, will be taxed as business income. So if that's yes, again, the program will make sure that the appropriate business form gets filled out for that. Did you open your first home savings account in 2024? Basically, in FHSA, you get $8,000 of room every year from the year that you open it. So this is just to help CRA keep track of all of that. And then were you confined to a prison for a period of 90 days or more? That's just simply for different credits that you may or may not be eligible if you were. Canada carbon rebate, did you live outside of a census metropolitan area or within a rural area? So get a little bit of confusion on this one from clients every year. So general rule of thumb, if you live in a larger city, you are not outside of a CMA area. But if you're on the outskirts or you do live rural and you're ever not sure, you can always click this link here. It will actually take you to CRA's website where it will break down all the CMA areas by province. So if you go in Ontario here, it will show all the different maps for all the different townships. I will pull up Brantford here to give you guys an example. So when you open the map, anything within the white area is inside of the CMA area. and then anything in the gray is considered outside. So the one frustrating thing about this is it doesn't work like Google Maps. You do have to kind of do a little bit of guessing to figure out like where your address is. But if you are outside of the white area for that question, you will check yes. And if you are inside the white area for that question, you will check no. So for me, I live in London, Ontario, in a city. I will check no for that. Organ and tissue donor registry. So I did just want to point out this does not mean that you are consenting to donating your organs when you pass away. This is just simply giving your information to Ontario Health. So again, yes or no is totally up to you. And then this one's for Ontario specifically. I will touch on it a little bit. So will you apply for the Ontario Trillium benefit? So Ontario does have a couple credits that they have. So they are income based. So you can just say yes, put your information in there, see if you get anything back just to be safe. CRA My Account, it will ask you if you want to sign up for online mail. Basically, if you say yes for this one, they will ask you for your email address. Essentially, if you do this, what will happen is CRA will just send you email notifications whenever you have new mail available from them. It won't ever say anything personal. It will simply just say something along the lines of, you have new mail in your My Account, please sign in to view the details. So they are trying to move more people to online. So if you haven't signed up yet, I highly recommend that you do. Otherwise, if you don't want to, totally up to you. So now we get to the part where it talks about managed tax forms. So this is where if you want to input stuff manually, or like I said, there's certain sources of income deductions or credits that you have to keep track of yourself, this is where you'll enter it. So for entering information slips, each slip has a name to it. So like T4, T5, as I mentioned before. So for the most part, you just have to enter in the name of the slip, and usually it will be the first one that pops up. So there's employment income, and that's what it looks like. So when you get your information slip, it will have a bunch of different box numbers on it, and your only responsibility is to enter the applicable box numbers onto the software here, and it will make sure that the income goes where it needs to go. Moving on to some deductions, for example. So let's say moving expenses, which is one. So it pops up there. So as I mentioned before, there are certain forms that you have to fill out based on the deduction. Now, when you enter the type of deduction you want, it will get the applicable information from you, and then it will make sure it gets reported onto the correct form. And then finally, I'll just show you an example of a non-refundable credit. So medical, most common one there. Same thing, you just enter the information that it's asking for, and then it will make sure that it gets applied to the applicable forms. So after you've gone through all of that, you will get to a section that talks about either like reviewing the return or optimizing. So for this one, if you click review, so it will show you different errors, opportunities that you could potentially be saving on tax. So for example, here, I have entered a bunch of forms in and have not filled anything out. So now I'm getting an error code saying you have stuff that hasn't been filled out, no income's been entered, all that kind of stuff. Will be some warnings, just general reminders. And then if you scroll down, there's some suggestions. So you may be eligible for the digital news subscription tax credit. You may be eligible for the Ontario energy property tax. That's the Ontario Trillium benefit we mentioned earlier. So most software, again, is pretty good with looking at different stuff that you entered and potentially recommending options for more tax savings. And then when you scroll down here, almost done, you get to the summary. So it will essentially summarize your refund or your amount owing. And then it will break down all the different credits that you're eligible for. So in this case, I would be getting the GST credit, the Canada Carbon Rebate, and the Ontario Trillium benefit. And then this option does have a summary spreadsheet that I can download if I want to have it broken down. And then finally, scrolling down here, documents, it does summarize all the different forms if you want to actually look at the paper copy of what gets filed, and it will have the applicable forms that get entered. So as I entered moving expense deductions earlier, it has the T1M form that I mentioned on there to review it if you want. And then after you reviewed everything, no errors and all that, you click submit. So after you submit, your return will get filed. It usually takes about 2 weeks for CRA to assess the return and issue your notice of assessment. If you are signed up for online notifications, once the notice of assessment has been issued, typically you'll get an email saying there is new mail in your account. And when you log in, your notice of assessment will be available on there. And as always, make sure you hang on to all of your documents, all of your receipts, so that if CRA does want to do a review and look at things down the road, that you have all of your supporting documents. Anyways, that's everything I got for you guys today. Thanks for sticking around and watching all of this video. And I wish you guys a great tax season.
Okay, and so I hope this video showed you that filing your taxes doesn't have to be overly complicated and confusing. And you are 100% capable to file your own taxes. That being said, if you have a more complicated financial situation, it could be beneficial to just work with a tax accountant to make sure that you're claiming all of the required tax deductions and credits. And so in this case, if you want to work with Chris directly, I'll leave a link for you to contact him in the description below. Now, if you're watching this, you're clearly someone who wants to learn about how to pay less taxes in Canada so that you can work smarter, not harder. And so if this is you, I created a whole tax playlist on my YouTube channel to teach you exactly how to do this. And so feel free to watch it right over here.